What's up, guys? This is Webby back again for some late breaking news for you. Back again for a podcast that might spark some interest for you. This edition, we're going to be covering whether it was a botch or whether it was planned out. Whether the cage was supposed to break or whether Brock Lesnar's back was supposed to hit first and Roman Reigns' head was supposed to dive into the concrete floor last night by accident. We're going to be covering some news that has broken, whether this was supposed to happen or not, right here on the podcast today. First off, if you're a subscriber, thank you very much. If you're not, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for all notifications. Follow me on Facebook at 2007Webby. Much appreciated if you do that. And if you follow me, subscribe, and everything on this channel so you get all of my notifications as soon as a podcast comes up right here on YouTube. Now, last night or yesterday afternoon, whenever you watched it, if you watched the greatest Royal Rumble of all time, we saw Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship inside a steel cage. The Broctagon cage, as Paul Heyman described it, this past Monday on Raw. Now, WWE was building it up like Roman Reigns was going to get absolutely wiped away from pillar to post, limbs broken, and all this types of stuff by Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's never been beaten inside the cage. Brock Lesnar has never done this and that. Brock Lesnar's held the championship for over 380-something days. They're really hyping it up that he's done all these great things right now when he was coming down the ramp. Well, Roman Reigns, he's been built up for this contest like he's in the fight of his life. The same verbiage that they used for WrestleMania 34. Now, as the match continued, we saw Roman Reigns pretty much dominate this contest. Roman Reigns looked very strong throughout this match, as we all know, if you watched it. If you didn't, that's what you saw. You saw Roman Reigns have the upper hand for the most part. Brock Lesnar was between the rope and the steel cage wall. Roman Reigns spears Brock Lesnar. The wall of the steel cage breaks. Brock Lesnar's back lands on the floor first, and Roman Reigns' head plows straight into the concrete floor, as they would say. Now, according to CagesideSeats.com, they are reporting that Dave Meltzer has stated that this was botched. This was not supposed to happen. Now, according to PW Insider, however, same website, they are reporting that this was planned all along. Take it as you will. Take these with a grain of salt. Quite frankly, it makes more sense that this was planned. a few different reasons why Brock Lesnar winning last night makes more sense. No matter how many of you out there that are Roman Reigns fans get upset, it does make more sense. WWE is in the era of breaking records. Number one, and I've said this before, breaking CM Punk's record. He's held it 380 something days. He's not that too far behind of CM Punk's record, no matter if it is two championship titles. WWE will just look at it as a main championship. They already are looking at it. Michael Cole said it last night. He said the 7th longest reigning champion in WWE history. He said that last night himself, or yesterday afternoon, whichever one you watched it at. Now, another reason why it makes sense, Brock Lesnar winning and this not being a botch. Roman Reigns had to look strong. If they were going to have Brock Lesnar beat CM Punk's record, Roman Reigns could not go in there and get absolutely wiped away from pillar to post, limbs broken, all different types of stuff throughout the entire match. And us see an exact replica of what we saw at WrestleMania 34, no matter if it was not believable or not, because I sat there and watched that entire matchup, and none of it looked believable. When Brock Lesnar was being thrown from one end of the cage to the other end of the cage, none of that looked believable. So Roman Reigns had to look strong some in this contest if he was going to lose. And that's exactly what happened. Now, how they ended it, he's going to get another contest. He's going to get another championship match. WWE will do that. It's a shame that WWE will do that because someone else out there, Braun Strowman, deserves to take that championship away from Brock Lesnar. Everybody's in agreement with me on that. Another reason why this makes more sense that this was not a botch. They did have botches last night, but this wasn't one of them. This WWE has a tendency to do. You look at Braun Strowman and the Big Show. Braun Strowman power slammed the Big Show right through the steel cage. You know? You look back in the 90s, I know it was a different type of cage. Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Big Show, Paul White, when Austin was thrown on the steel cage and ended up winning that contest because Big Show was beating him up from all over the ring, and then Austin won that matchup. Big Show's debut. WWE has a tendency of doing this. Now, cherry on top of a reason they might have had Brock Lesnar win last night, and for the simple fact that this was not a botch. I mean, it was not. Sorry, Dave Meltzer, I am disagreeing with you. And I don't take your word for gospel, but if there's one guy out there that you usually can take his word as that he knows the most, it is Dave Meltzer. But, you know, it's a simple fact that Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns was in a crowd that sounded like crickets last night. For the most part, they did not get into that show. Now, I do realize that it was not your hardcore audience. I realize that you aren't going to get a bunch of screaming fanatics at that show, but still, those fans didn't really seem like they were getting into it that much. So, do you really want to take the title off of Brock Lesnar in front of fans that was just like, or on their phone? Didn't show a lot of interest or anything like that throughout it? No, you don't want to do that. Instead, if Roman Reigns is the one, I don't agree with it, but at least you put it back in the States where there's going to be people giving reactions to what's going on in the ring. But this is my opinion on whether it was botched or planned. The finish of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship inside a steel cage. You all let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe amongst everything I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast. Go back and watch the review of the greatest Royal Rumble of all time. Raw and SmackDown Live reviews. Amongst everything else that you've missed right here on this channel, it's much appreciated if you do that. And until I see you again, this is Webby. Have a great weekend, and I will catch you on the other side. Talk to you later.